It's Kim Saracen, the Queen of Hearts, and today we are looking at the major signs that you're mothering your man. Now, even this topic, I'm sure, is already making you cringe because I know a lot of women are aware of having this habit somewhere to a certain element inside of them. And it's actually not surprising because as women, we are the natural caretakers and caregivers of the world. I mean, this is just something that comes to us really naturally. And so the tendency for us to be over nurturing with a man is actually quite high, and I see it a lot with my clients. And I also see it a lot with a certain type of woman. And this woman tends to have a fair amount of masculine energy running. She tends to be a very domineering type of person, often is in a position of leadership in her career or her business. And what this woman will do is she will specifically choose men that are kind of sensitive and quiet and in the background. And then what happens is she ends up losing respect for them, steamrolling over them. There's no sex happening, and she eventually dumps him and then repeats this cycle over and over again. And the reason this type of woman will choose that type of guy is because she doesn't want him to get in the way of her life or her career in any way. So it's perfectly suitable for her to have this guy just kind of be in the background and not interfere with her life. But the thing is, what's missing for this kind of woman is that she will never have relationships that have any kind of deep intimacy because she's choosing men who won't set any boundaries with her. And she's just too afraid to surrender into a strong guy who will set boundaries with her. It's not safe for her to surrender. So you might not be 100% this kind of woman, but there might be an aspect of this inside of you. But lest I digress, I want to get into these signs that you're mothering your man. So the first one is associated with that type of woman that I was describing, and that's being very controlling. So this is, this is when you're controlling everything about your guy, his diet, if he buys a coffee on his way to work or not, the way he folds his clothes, like just every aspect of his life, you're in there and controlling it. And this is just hugely emasculating to a guy. What it's doing is sending the message that you don't trust him to make his own decisions, that you don't trust him to be directing his life guided by his own inner guidance. So this is very controlling behavior. And the other thing that you're doing is probably offering a lot of unsolicited advice. And when you do that, you're starting to sound like his mother. And this is not sexy. So emasculating. So, if you're wanting to, if you're wanting to change and steer a guy in the direction you want him to go, I'm actually going to be posting a video really soon about how to do that, where it's a win for both of you. So stay tuned to that. But in the meantime, what you want to be doing is, before you start to offer unsolicited advice to a guy or fold his shirts in a certain way or be controlling in any way, you've got to bite your tongue. You have to stop and take a breath and ask yourself, is this earth-shatteringly important that he does things the way that you want him to do? Is it really worth it to come across as his mother, come across as unsexy and emasculate him? And if you ask yourself that, you're probably going to say, no, it isn't worth it. So the only person you can change is yourself, and watch for that video where I'll be sharing how to make requests of a guy and to steer him in the direction that you want him to go. So that's one sign, is controlling. The other one is being too nurturing. And where you're going to get tripped up with this, in fact, I was helping a client with this the other day because she was considering breaking up with a guy, but she was afraid of going forward with it because she didn't want to hurt his feelings. So I see this happen a lot with clients where they're avoiding breaking up or even speaking up if something is bothering them because they don't want to rock the boat, they don't want to hurt his feelings. And what ends up happening is you end up being really resentful. I mean, it's just not worth it. And what you have to know here is that men are a lot stronger than you give them credit for. You know, if you're avoiding breaking up with a guy, you have to know that men are so used to rejection from women. They've been rejected by women all their lives. So it's nothing really new. Yeah, it doesn't feel good and it hurts, but you have to trust he's a big enough man that he's going to get over it. He'll get through that hurt. And if you're with a guy that you don't want to be with, you know, I mean, how is that serving either one of you? It really isn't. So it's best to speak up and break up and just let the chips fall where they may. And you got to trust that he's going to get through it and get over it, just like you will. So that's the too nurturing part. And then the third sign is you assume he won't get it right. So this is huge. And this is probably an element of this in every single woman that I've ever come across, for sure. So what that looks like is you ask him to do something for you. It could be cleaning the bathroom. And he's halfway to doing that, and you go in there and start organizing him around it or directing him on how to do it better. You ask him to make dinner, and then halfway through doing that, you're going in there and starting to cook the dinner for him, or tell him how to cut a certain vegetable in a certain way. So assuming he's not going to get it right is what I call being castrating. And castrating behavior is when the goal is to knock a man down at his knees. And again, it's all coming back to this aspect of just not trusting him, not trusting that he knows how to do things the best way he knows how, and that his way is perfect. Yes, your way is perfect too, but you have to allow him to have his own way be perfect as well. So, what you need to do is just back off. Whenever you ask a man to do something for you, let him do it the way that he wants to do it, in the time frame that he wants to do it, on the day that he wants to do it. That is going to be saving you so many arguments. It's going to be saving your relationship. It's going to keep the intimacy alive, keep the sexiness alive. So this mothering your man, those are the major signs right there. And so I want you to reflect and see what you can shift or change in yourself in order to make your guy feel like a man and a hero again. All right. Thanks for joining me. Be sure to share your comments. I love hearing from you. Bye for now.